See you walking out my door. I wanna grab a frying pan and lay you out on the floor. That filth you talk, that stench just flies out of you. I should have listened, yeah, I should have knew. When you said you loved me, I should have picked up and ran. Grabbed my unicycle and rode to Japan. Hang out with some geisha girls, sing karaoke and get a tattoo. Do everyone and everything to forget about you. Yeah.
So here I am. Hope everyone's doing well. It is another day and not another dollar. Saying used to say another day, another dollar. But when your place of employment's been shut down, that has its own kind of goofy thing. Trying to, okay, here we go. So I got the Discord call-in line up and running. We're streaming now. Added another platform, Mixer, Microsoft, based out of Seattle, Washington, running there now. And so I'm doing my part. Yeah, I'm doing my part trying to get spread out as much as I can. And if, just need some help with some other people. Perhaps they like what they hear and they can spread it out too. There's the Discord call-in line right there. And let me know if you think you would benefit from a different way to interact live. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Discord is used all over. Do people still use Skype for that? Because I was thinking of perhaps adding in a Skype call-in line also. So that would also be possible too for the people who don't have Discord now. So I took a look today and found a couple things that I thought would be interesting. You know, one thing that I had been thinking about, I've been involved in education for the last 21 years now or so. And I wonder, you know, how much teachers will be needed in the close future. Realizing that a lot of classes could be, taught from the comfort of the teacher's home, or how many schools will be needed, really. But actually, how many teachers will be needed? Because when you get right down to it, the first 4 years of school, grades 1, 2, 3, and 4, class 1, 2, 3, 4, those are the most vital classes a child takes. Ooh, you hear that bee? There's a bee in here somewhere. Those are the most important classes that a child will take. It's not in the university, it's not in high school, it's in grade school, elementary school. You learn to read, you learn to write, and you learn the basic math, which is the math you will be using for most everything in your life. Not too often do you need algebra or calculus, but your basic addition, multiplication, subtraction, and perhaps a little bit of percentages, but those are taught, in the first 4 years of school. How to interact with other people, social interaction, those are taught in the first 4 years of school. Past that, from grades 5 up to a senior in high school, I believe, with my time in education and being involved in education, I'm looking at this big freaking hornet. I guess in America they have these murder hornets, what they call them. I had never seen a hornet so freaking big until I came to Europe. I mean, they're the size of your thumb. They're gigantic. And he's like, because I got my door open here, and he's like, what's in there? And I'm sure you can hear him. And they don't care if you leave him alone. If they see you, they'll just say, oh, he looks good. I'll ignore it, see what happens. After grade school, after elementary school, the classes that are taken should be, all of them, should be elective classes. No more requirements. No requirement classes in order to graduate high school. The student should be able to select what class they take, when they take it, not the curriculum. It should not be based on everybody in grade 6 needs to succeed in fulfilling these specific requirements. I mean, this is how education is done, and it has failed time and time again. Education, most of it should be an elective course, especially mathematics. Yeah, history. Why is history required? I think most people come to their love of history as they get older. As they themselves get older, they gain a more insight, a perspective on what history shows us and teaches us. But getting a younger child, 13, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, interested in history, there has to be a specific child that, for some reason, that subject strikes a bell with him or her. And they might be fascinated by it, and that's great. And if we find a student like that, then that student should be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm really not too interested in calculus, so I don't want to take it. I want to take another advanced course of history. Okay. This is where the talent lies within that child. So why not feed it? Why force that child to say, nope, you've already had it. Now you have to learn this. Of course, the child could learn it on their own. And with the but with the internet, everything that you would ever want to know is out there. And someone who really wants to learn it, they're going to find it and they're going to search it. They're going to research it. And the history that is taught in schools are biased anyway. That is American history. Not because it revolves around America, but it's because America wrote it. It wasn't until 30 years out of school, 25 years out of schools, that I realized how much Russia had such a major influence on the outcome of World War II. I mean, we didn't learn anything about that. Not one thing. I mean, I remember, America walked into Germany and kicked the Germans' ass, and boom, we won the war with no help from anybody. But that is totally inaccurate. So history is written by the winners, of course. We all know that. And they can write it any way they want to write it. You take a 8th grade history book from Russia and an 8th grade history book from America, and you look up the same thing, World War II, we'll say, and you will have two totally different outtakes on it. Two totally different. And this is all about manipulation. This is all about control. Yeah? Institutionalizing the students. I mean, that is what American high schools have become. And a place where we institutionalize the students, where we get them to respect authority. That's where it begins. That's where it begins. I've heard this said, and it is true. School and prisons are so much alike. There's a bell when you can eat. There's a bell when you can go to the bathroom. There's a bell telling you to come in, telling you to come back in. I mean, they're very similar. And yeah, schools have progressed. Some of them have progressed to kind of get away from that paradigm. Homeschooling, I find, is a great thing. Usually the people who homeschool, children are usually homeschooled by two types of families, religious families, or perhaps families that some people would claim are nut jobs, loony bins, social, conspiracy theorists. But be that as it may, the child gets a much better education being homeschooled than at a normal school. A public school, that's for sure. I wonder how much school has changed, really. It's been a long time since I was actually a student in school. And the time that I've been in education here, in an official school, it was in what they call a Freischule, a free school. A lot of my classes took place outside, in fields. Why? Because who wants to sit in a freaking classroom on a great day? That's why. And a lot of them were opened, free-formed. And it's just too bad. And it's difficult. It would be difficult for the public school system to do something like that. Because, yes, we all know that every child is different. Everybody is different. They all learn different things at different times. Some do have a special gift, perhaps, in one subject or the other, but yet we all still try to treat them as the same. Unschooling is what I've heard about also. Children just don't go to school. And they don't have homeschooling. They just do whatever. Not exactly sure how that works. I've never really had any personal experience with it. Although it does pan out to make sense in the long run, because if you have a child who's been unschooled and their parents, and let's say their parents aren't even involved, that they let that child sit in front of the TV for as long as they want, day in and day out, just let them veg, and they have no input in that child's life whatsoever. Maybe they're just bad parents, they just don't care. That child will sooner or later become bored sitting in front of that TV. Sooner or later, he or she is going to get tired of that game, and they're going to want to do something. They want to do something. It's within the human spirit. We want to accomplish things. Yeah, okay, maybe it's, I've accomplished winning this game. Okay, it's won. You go to the next game. After a while, though, things are going to change. And then that child will actually take a peek out the window for the first time and see what's outside. And once he or she is exposed to the outside, and they are exposed to how other children react and what other children know or like or have been exposed to, and they might look at themselves and say, oh my God, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I feel dumb. When that point comes, then that child is not, or I don't want to say child, that person is not going to accept that as their life. You know, they're going to want to find out, what were you guys talking about? They're going to start asking questions. They're going to start getting interested. And they're going to learn on their own. The school system definitely has to, be changed. And the emphasis on how important it is to go to a university or a college, by God, is that still around? Do people really feel that is important? Do they really feel it's important that somebody spends $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $150,000 for a 3 or 4 year education, leaving the school with a $160,000 debt? Is that the best way to start your life? No. You've wasted 4 years of your life. You've wasted them because you've wasted them in a protective bubble, which shields you from the real life. Now, maybe I'm wrong. If you're a university student or a college student and you say, what, that's not true. Okay, maybe you don't sound like that. But
that's not true at all. Like, there's so much stuff in there. Now I can do things.
That's fine. That's great. If you disagree with it, then let me know. What have you learned? What has been taught to you in a university or a college that could have only been learned there? And it could not have been picked up anywhere else. Even here in Germany, where Germans are so goddamn fixed on paperwork. They need documents for everything. Even someone my age, I have been asked, oh, yes, we need to see a transcript of your school records. School records? What do you mean, like a college or... No, high school. I go, high school? You want to see records of what I was like 32 years ago? And I'm sorry? Does that have any reflection on the person that I am today? Well, we just need them for our records. That's true. They do that. Need them for our records. But, maybe I'm wrong. I have known people who have spent time. They have gone to college. They have learned a subject. And they are unemployed, or they are working in a different field than what that they had studied for. And they are in debt. And they are crying because they are in debt. And they don't understand why they have to pay that money back. Or they don't understand why people are voting against, or they have a problem with bailing out the students, forgiving college debt. Why can't you just forgive this debt of mine? You accumulated it. You're the genius who apparently, in your grand wisdom, figured that going to the university is going to be a better opportunity for me in the future. So I'm going to take out a student loan for I don't know. Somebody tell me, how much does it cost to go to a good college anymore? $150,000, $175,000 for 3-4 years? Yeah. You're going to take a loan out for that, and you're going to expect other people to pay that? Fuck you. You took it out. And quit your whining. I mean, that's like me or you or anybody else going down to the local Porsche dealership, getting out a loan for a new 911 Targa Turbo, and then not being able to make the payments for it and say, hey, you guys have to bail me out here. I can't afford it. And, they told me it was going to be a really good car, and my reputation level would go up. What would we do? We would laugh at the person. We would laugh at them. And I laugh at the students. I laugh at them who have this college debt. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, people should not be forced to pay for another person's education, even though we are. I mean, public school is not free. Now you pay for that with your taxes. So, even that. Look, I'm just checking this here. Everything is great. All right, good. So anyway, I took a look at. I just did some perusing here, some of the news today. And there was something that I saw that I guess other people have seen it already. But I watched it. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was brutal. I didn't think it was going to be that brutal. But it's brutal. Everyone's seen this video about, was it Walmart? Yeah, Walmart. Everything happens at Walmart. Yeah, thousands of YouTube channels. People from Walmart. Strange things that happen in Walmart. I've never been to a Walmart. I don't think so. I've never been to a Walmart. There's a video here that the incident took place Wednesday night at Walmart in Roebuck. A video of the incident has been shared thousands of times on Facebook and shows the officer handcuffing a woman who is not complying. Now, she's not complying because she's not wearing a mask, yeah? He then picks her up and takes her to the ground. He doesn't take her to the ground. He freaking body slams her. He ultimately gets her handcuffed, and she is seen later in the video standing with no apparent injuries. It appears she then spit at another woman while she was in handcuffs. Little is known about what led up to the incident before the videos were recorded. Efforts to reach supervisors at the store weren't successful. Now, again, I've talked about this, these rules, these social distancing rules and whatnot. If a store wants to do it on their own accord, then do it. You don't have to shop there. I mean, do you believe that a public place, a private place, a private business, do you believe they have the right to refuse service? Do you believe they have the right to dictate their own rules, such as Wednesday is red shirt day. You cannot enter the store unless you're wearing a red shirt. If you do, you will not be served. Should they be allowed to do that? So, but when it comes to forcing private companies to enforce rules that they might or might not agree with, this is when you get the problems. Here's the video here. We'll take a look at it. And as I said, the sound. Oh, God, the sound. So there they are. This guy in the white T-shirt is standing in front, the dummy. And the woman is there, and then I guess the officer is right there. And get ready, because it's coming. Oh, okay, I was wrong. But, oh my God, did you see that? I mean, she landed right on her freaking neck. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Let's rewind here a little bit. Okay, so I guess it's these two right here. These two. I don't know what's going on over here. But this is a woman who just gets slammed. Okay. Ooh. So he reaches down within her crotch, and her. For those of you who can't see this, it looks like she has her hands. Her hands are behind her back. He's trying to put the handcuffs on her, and for some reason, this highly trained law enforcement official is not able to put handcuffs on this woman. It's not like she's a 300-pound sumo wrestler. He's having difficulty getting her handcuffed. And he reaches between, he grabs her crotch basically and lifts her up, which then gravity takes over and her face just boom lands on the floor. I mean, the sound is just death-defying. And of course, the people are shocked. And wow. So I'm not sure if you've seen that or not, but that is something that I saw that it just enforces what I've been saying this whole time. It just enforces it. Things like this are going to continue to happen and happen and happen. Let's see here. Let's see. Birmingham Police spokesman Sergeant Rod Maldin said the officer was off duty and working security for Walmart. He said the department is aware of the video and released this statement on behalf of the department. The same day the interaction occurred, immediate actions were taken for the sake of public trust and transparency. A preliminary investigation consistent with Birmingham Police Department reportable use of force protocols were immediately initiated, and investigators of the Internal Affairs Divisions are conducting an investigation. This protocol applies for all use of force incidents that occur within the Birmingham Police Department. We understand we are operating in trying times. The Birmingham Police Department has maintained a consistent community-oriented educational approach to the surrounding circumstances of COVID-19. As a department, we have been successful in our efforts to gain compliance and cooperation from the vast majority of citizens in Birmingham. Our records indicate we have not issued any citations or made arrests as it refers to the shelter-in-place ordinance or the face covering ordinance. We have made a valiant effort to gain voluntary compliance and will continue to work cohesively with the community. So, I wonder if this is accurate, that they have not arrested anybody, they have not cited for anybody, and that they are trying to get people to voluntarily follow these stay-at-home orders. If so, kudos to them. Kudos to them. I mean, I'm not going to do it anyway, but at least they're not, apparently, according to them, they're not out there like they are in New York City. I went this morning. I had to drive to a garage, auto mechanic. I had to order a gasket. So I needed this gasket for my car. Well, not my car, somebody's car. And so I drove there, I got to the place, got out of my car, and thought to myself, shit, I don't have anything to cover my face. I wonder if they're even going to let me in. So searching around my car, I found this old bandana, which I then put in my hand. I walked into the place, and to my left, there was a man sitting with no face mask. Straight in front of me, behind a little glass, little plate, there was another person sitting with a face mask, which was not on. He looked at me and I looked at him. I raised up my bandana, which was in my hand, and he kind of smiled, and then I put it down. And he did not put his face mask on. And then I continued to go up and say, hey, I ordered the part, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, it's here, da-da-da-da-da. A minute later, some guy came out from the back, no face mask. Did you order the part? Yep, I ordered the part. Here it is. Thanks a lot. You can pay that guy there. Okay. So, I mean, it shouldn't be made mandatory. I hope most people can agree with that. It should not be made mandatory. Voluntarily. Because we see what happens. We see the outcome when this is made mandatory. Let's see, what else do we got here in the news? Here. Trump brings religion into the coronavirus culture war. Open up our churches. We need communion. Okay, I'm not a religious person. I don't care if you are. What I do care about is when you claim that your religion is a true religion. Because you really don't know. You're just human. You're basing everything on faith. And so is the other guy who is claiming his religion is a true religion. He's basing everything on his faith. So both of you shut the fuck up and realize that you don't know the truth, but understand each other that this person has a different belief system than I do. And that's great. And if it works for them, outstanding. And if it's different than mine, who cares? He's not me. I'm not him. I don't live his life. He doesn't live mine. Seems to be a nice guy. Maybe he's going to hell. At least that's what the one side's going to think. But so what? And open up our churches. This is something that it kind of goes a little bit deeper. But there's a story here. Let's see here. I read something here that I thought, that kind of struck a bell with me. Right here. April 10th, a pastor appeared on Carlson's show to accuse the city government of Greensville, Mississippi, of anti-Christian harassment because it did not allow drive-in church services. What the hell's a drive-in church service? Drive in, you get blessed, and you're on your way. Senator Rand Paul, on April 10th, tweeted an attack on Kentucky's warning that people who attended large services on Easter could face tickets and quarantine orders. Taking license plates at church? Quarantining someone for being Christian on Easter Sunday? Someone needs to take a step back here. That's what Rand Paul said. The Fox News host Jeannie Pirro on April 15th praised Michigan protesters who resist if authorities enforce a social distancing order on mosques during the Ramadan, like they did churches during Easter. Ooh, okay. At a press conference that day, Trump was invited to explain himself, and he did. I am somebody that believes in faith, and it matters not what your faith is, but our politicians seem to treat different faiths very differently. They seem to think, and I don't know what happened with our country, but the Christian faith is treated much differently than it was, and I think it's treated very unfairly. He added, they go after Christian churches, but they don't tend to go after mosques. Is that true? I mean, what do you need a church for anyway? I mean, really? You don't. If you're a Christian, you don't need a church. If you're a Muslim, you don't need a mosque. If you're Jewish, you don't need a synagogue. I thought religion was personal, and it was a private thing. It was an interaction between you and the one who you believe is the bringer of life. So you don't need a church to believe in God or even to converse with God. But the thing that kind of pisses me off in religion is America Christian? Is America based on Christianity? I think the founding fathers were deists and they weren't quite sure. But that's beside the point. It really is. We have the one group who really supports Trump are the. You see, I have a difficult time calling them Christians because in my eyes, the one person who doesn't really believe in God, I find myself to be much more Christian than they are. A Christian who calls out death or to conquer the enemy or not love thy neighbor, such as the people living at the South, or have a problem with illegal immigrants, because Jesus was an illegal immigrant, no. I mean, how could you really call yourself a Christian? Isn't the word Christian taken from Christ-like? Shouldn't you be acting like Christ in order to be a Christian? I think it's hypocrisy. I mean, most of these churches is just hypocrisy. What do you think? Let me know what you think. What religion are you? Are you Christian? Are you an atheist? Are you an agnostic? Are you Jewish? Are you Muslim? Are you Hindu? Or do you believe in the alligator gods? Could be. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. And this last thing that I saw that we need to correct right away. We need to correct this right away. Coronavirus costs millions of Americans their jobs. No! You dumb shit. The coronavirus hasn't cost anything to anybody. It hasn't costed anybody's jobs. The coronavirus has not cost anybody a job. That's just stupid. The government forcing businesses to shut their door. That is what has caused Americans to lose their jobs. Not a virus, but the actions of the government. So how about they correct the title of that? Coronavirus costs millions of Americans their jobs. That's bullshit. Let's, call it out for what it is. Here's a live coverage on it. Like I said, I haven't really looked at it, looked into it. Oh, this is a freaking advertisement. I mean, am I right or am I wrong here? Trump, let's see, totally expected 20.5 million job losses. I guess it was 14.7, highest level since the 1930s. You know, the area of the time of the Great Depression. The pandemic has unleashed a tsunami of hate and xenophobia, which needs to be defeated. Again, the pandemic has not done this. Our government has done this.
Tell us who might be infected with the virus, who might have been infected in the past.
Okay, what is this?
Might need to be in stricter isolation to stop the virus spreading. There are two types of test. The first type, usually a nasal swab, tests for the
Okay, this has
presence of
nothing
the
to do with the story whatsoever. Live coronavirus coverage, but it's nothing to do of the sort. So what do you think about this? Am I missing something? Am I missing something? Did the coronavirus cause millions of people to lose their jobs? Or was it the actions which were taken by the leaders that be? Which did it? Did the coronavirus call up, type out, send out orders, national orders that says if you have running a business, you got to shut its doors. You got to shut your doors. I don't care if employees are counting on this for their income. It makes no difference. They need to be shut. Did the coronavirus do that? Has it spouted arms and grown a head? Does it have consciousness? No, of course not. So why do they keep doing this? They're putting the blame on something that we cannot take any action against. We can't take any action against this. I mean, think about what it would sound like if we took that same principle and instead of saying the coronavirus has caused millions of people their jobs, let's erase the very first word and replace it with U.S. government has caused millions of people to lose their jobs. The UK government's actions has caused millions of people to lose their jobs. Has a different twist to it, don't you? Because now we have someone we can point a finger at. Now we have someone that we can actually take action against. And so what they're trying to do is unify everybody under a cause which we have no way of taking action against this. It's a virus, for Christ's sake. What do? Grab your pitchforks and your shovels and where the hell's that virus? God damn it, we're gonna find that son of a bitch. And we're huh? What? Huh? There's nothing you can do, yeah. But if there's a target there, that's where it gets a little bit more real. And I think that's why they chose that headline. Coronavirus causes this. The coronavirus causes that. The coronavirus causes this. But we all know, at least for those who with an open mind, who really think about things, we know that the virus did not cause any of this. All right, so I might be back later tonight, right after band practice. Every Friday night, got band practice. Yeah, still rock out quite often. And again, hate to keep saying it, but I'll say it. If you like what you hear, spread it out. Tell someone about it. Send them a link. We now are on YouTube, Mixer, as I said, here on Twitch, and D-Live also. And some really weird place called Africa TV. Have you ever heard of that? I think it's in South Korea. But You look at their website and everything is, I can't make out anything because of the language barrier. But yeah, so I'm doing my part here. Okay, then. Hope your day goes well. And until next time, take care.